that brings us to first topic of conversation for tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And as much as you have quite a few people in national media, some of them thinking that the window has closed on Coach Saban to win a national championship. The opportunity has shut down on Coach Saban to try to get the 7th ring to surpass one, the legendary Paul W. Bear Bryant. There is one ESPN insider that knows if there is somebody you do not bet against in terms of football, that would be Coach Saban. That ESPN insider just so happens to be Phil Steele. And Phil Steele had a statement on yesterday, that being Tuesday, where he talked about how he sees Alabama as a team coming for vengeance of its upcoming season. And he talked about the returning starters Alabama has on both offense and defense. He looked at, a number of different things, the depth on the team on both sides of the ball. He looked at the offensive line being one of the best in the country. He touched on a number of different things that I myself have touched on in terms of this show. So starting things out here, with the offensive line. Alabama's offensive line, you're looking at a group that knows what is going to be expected from them this season. Of course, Kyle Flood, the offensive line coach, has put the expectations on this group. If you look at guys like Cole Kublik, the former Auburn offensive lineman who's now with ESPN. He also is part of the show 3-Man Front on WJOX 94.5 in Birmingham. He had Alabama's offensive line as the number one group, not only in the SEC, but also in the country. This is a group that returns 3 former 5-stars in Evan Neal, Landon Dickerson, and Alex Leatherwood. 4 of the 5 guys on the offensive line, you throw Deontay Brown in there as well, have all played together. And if you look at the screen right now in discussing Alex Leatherwood, Deontay Brown, and Landon Dickerson, all 3 guys are on the Outland Trophy preseason watch list. For the Outland Trophy, this award is bestowed to the best interior lineman on whether the offensive line or the defensive line. So, the line knows. This group knows what's expected. They know the expectations. They know what they have to do. For this group, it is Joe Moore award or bust. For this group, it's national championship or bust. For this group, it's helping Najee Harris hit on all of his goals, helping the quarterback room led by Mac Jones hit on all of its goals, and Mac Jones in particular, his goals, helping this team win the national championship, win a conference title, get back to the college football playoff. And going back to Steele here, he mentioned how he rated this offensive line as his best group in the country. In terms of the defense, he brought up a point where, Alabama did not have Dylan Moses, did not have Joshua McMillan last year, and how difficult it was. And I mentioned that point myself, and even U.S. callers and as fans, y'all brought up that point. When you don't have both of your primary inside linebackers, your middle linebacker and your weak side linebacker, it's difficult when you don't have your 2 main guys with experience. Moses in terms of the playing experience and the leadership. McMillan, when you talk the knowledge part of knowing the system, understanding the system backwards, forward, sideways, what have you. If Alabama would have lost just maybe one of those guys, it probably would have been able to manage the situation better. But because it lost both, it was difficult, and you had to have 2 true freshmen in Christian Harris and Shane Lee learn on the fly, pick up the slack. Both guys had great moments this past season. And with McMillan back healthy, with Moses back healthy, with the experience that Christian Harris and Shane Lee have, you have depth there at the linebacker position. Phil Steele mentioned how this is one of the best linebacker rooms in college football. It's also one of the best defensive line rooms in college football. When you talk DJ Dale back healthy, you talk LeBron Ray back healthy. LeBron Ray is also on the Outland Trophy preseason watch list, so Ray is back healthy. You've got Christian Barmore. We saw him in limited action, be explosive, be dominant, be great. Now he's going to be a full-time starter. Now he's going to be a full-time leadership piece. So excited to see what he does. You bring in guys like Or Alabama has guys like Fidarian Mathis, who's a quality rotationary guy. And then you have freshmen that you brought in here with Tim Smith, big Jamil Burrows, big Jamarian Latham. I still want to see the likes of Ishmael Sopsher become something special. Now, he's got to drop that weight. He's got to get that weight down and hold it down. But there's potential for Ishmael Sopsher in there. When you look at guys like Byron Young and Braylon Ingram and Justin Aboigbe, those guys played last season, got that much-needed experience. So, Steele touched on this being the best linebacking core, one of the best linebacking groups in the country. Also, this being one of the best defensive line groups in the country. He even talked about the secondary, how the secondary is, once again loaded. But the main thing in that back five, and we all know it, Patrick Surtain has got to come with it this year. He's got to pop this year. We've talked about this. We've spoke on this. Every time you look, we have seen Surtain on a different preseason award watch list, whether it be the Chuck Bednarik Award, whether it's the Bronco Nagurski Award, whether it's the Jim Thorpe Award. Every time we have looked, Patrick Surtain II has found himself on a preseason award watch list. National media wants to see him do well this season. These award foundations want to see him do well this season. He has got to put it all together in that back five. He's got the pedigree. Father played ball in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. He's got the five-star caliber. He's got the strength. He's got the size. He's got the ability. He's got the tools. For Surtain, can he tackle well? For Surtain, can he play well in coverage? Trust those instincts, because right now, the name that's being highly talked about is Derek Stingley of the LSU Tigers, being the best corner in the conference, the SEC, one of the best corners in college football. Stingley's the name talked about, and Stingley's good. And no shade being thrown to Stingley. He had a tremendous freshman year. But this is something that should drive Surtain to want to be great. This is something that should drive Surtain to want to be the best and want to take back that title with him being the best corner in the conference. But, still talking about the secondary as well, and I see a bounce-back performance from that group. The one thing that Steele mentioned that he has as a question mark for Alabama is the quarterback position, the quarterback room. Me personally, I don't have an issue with the quarterback room. This is one of the best quarterback rooms in college football, if not the best. Wholeheartedly, 100%, Mac Jones gets this done as the starter. He takes this team to the college football playoff national championship and wins the national title. Mac Jones gets this done. Bryce Young will see a lot of field time. He will see a lot of action. I think Nick Saban will treat Bryce the way he treated Tua when Tua was a freshman. Get Bryce Young out there quickly, get his feet wet, have him run some plays, have him run some formations, get him in some games, seeing how the atmosphere is like with him in here. Once again, do not sleep, do not wink, do not hesitate on Paul Tyson. Here's a young man that's been having a strong offseason. He's been with Lavelle Durant, esteemed quarterback, elite quarterback developer, polishing him up a little bit. So do not sleep. Do not turn a blind eye to Paul Tyson. This is a very, very good, very strong quarterback room. I feel like my lone two concerns are these right here for Alabama. Number one, David Ballou, Dr. Matt Ray, sports science team, sports performance team, everybody's been raving about him, and for good reason. They've come in meaning business. The one thing for these two, can Alabama get through the season? No heart-crushing, soul-crushing, season-ending injuries. None of those. If Alabama can get through the whole season, no season-ending injuries, Ballou and Ray would be money well spent. Now, I understand you're going to have some small things. You're going to have a sprained knee. You're going to have maybe a sprained ankle. You're going to have a bump and a bruise here or there. That's football. We all know it's football. But no ruptured Achilles, no torn ACLs, no broken clavicles, no season-ending type thing. So as long as Alabama can stay away from season-ending injuries, the depth is good, the talent on the field is good, there's going to be, Alabama's going to have that chance to definitely win the national championship. So that right there. And then number 2, the mental psyche of Alabama's kicking game. The mental psyche of Will Reichert matters to me. He's out there kicking again physically. And that's great. Seeing him drive the ball 60 to 65 yards off the dirt through the goal post, that is sexy. That's appealing. Love it. But mentally, can he lock himself into doing that every single game? Because honestly, this is the missing piece. Alabama's got every single other thing. Got to make sure the kicker is in place. So no season-ending injuries, kicking in place. Those are my 2 main things, but I see Alabama winning this national championship field steel season as well. But before we take our first break here, got to remind you, Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, you can earn 10% off all orders over $30. The link will be found there in the description. That's coming from Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes. But upon our return, we get to your phone calls, thoughts, tweets, chats, questions, your viewpoints after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.